morning, guys. This is Lucy Polgar from LastBSTN, sponsored by Fight Division, and this is the Double Up podcast. So I'm here with Ellis Barboza, who we're just having a laugh. Like, we've literally pretty much done the podcast before we put the camera on because we've just been talking about absolutely everything. So we're going to go over it all again and share it with you guys. So first off, Ellis, thank you so much for coming in and giving us your time. I've literally got notes because there's so many avenues I want to go down with you. Like, there's literally so many things. The first thing that we've just been talking about is the age of you.
Yeah.
So 23 and the amount you've achieved, like, just take us back to the beginning. So, like, when did your journey with martial arts first start?
Yeah, so I started in kickboxing originally. It was actually my mum. I wasn't starting to fight. It was my mum. She was like, go train. You need to learn to defend yourself, as most mums do. And I just started for a bit of fun, a kickboxing gym. And then after like maybe 1 year, I moved to a Muay Thai gym with my coach, Henry Clemenson. It was his name at the time. He's a good level coach. He trains like Leon Edwards and other like high level MMA guys now. But he was producing a lot of champions. I was there up until I was like 19, 20.
So what time did you start there?
So I was about 12. 12. I started fighting 12, 13, and then first professional fight when I was 15. It just pushed us straight in the deep end, you know. Start fighting men. And from then, like, I've just been hooked on it, like, all through school, all through my teen years. I was basically just professional fighter, same like Thailand. Yeah. Just train, go home, watch fights, train again, you know, just hooked on it.
Just addicted straight away.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I wanted to talk about is like the coaches, because you've trained and lived in so many different places. So Mr. Worldwide, so he's been in Dubai, Thailand, obviously England. Like, do you have the same team with you, or is it like a different team each time?
No, that's one thing. I have travelled. So I started with my original coach Henry, then I moved to Dubai. I was under Jason Woodham. And then I flew to Thailand and fought there with just random coaches and stuff. Yeah. Now I'm back here under John Gillies. Like, I just take opportunity. So for me, I have to be selfish sometimes. If I see an opportunity, I'll go alone. Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? I don't care because I want to get the fight or the win or something. I've been lucky to train with different people and travel.
Do you know what's mad? Like, it's amazing, but like, what is it in you that makes you think, like, I'm going to go for that? Because you're only 23 now, and we're talking like when you first started, so like say 19, 20. For most people, like, I would love to just like pack my bags and like go off to Thailand, but I honestly don't think I'd have like, maybe now, but I'm 30 now, so like at that age, I just would not have had it in me to go. So like, what is the driving that made you just think, I'm doing this? Yeah,
I don't know. For me, I don't really overthink things. Like, if I want something, I will just go and put myself in the deep end and think I will just work it out.
It'll work out.
And it always does. This is what people don't... I was saying to Miles, like, people don't realise this. If you do just put yourself in the deep end, it will happen, like, you'll find your way. Yeah. But you just got to have the courage to do it.
I just think it's amazing that you found that at such a young age. Because like I say, like, I'm 30 now and I'm just getting into that mindset now, like, very recently of, like, if you do follow your heart, you follow the passion, like, stuff does open up. Like, we know that with Miles, like, and LastBSTN, like, I fully get what you're saying now, but this is, like, you know, at 30. So is there something that, like, initially got you into that? Like, was there a book you read, or was it just always intrinsic, always in you that you thought, I just follow the feeling?
Yeah, I read a lot of books, to be fair. I've from young, I've been into reading. So I'd say my mind is very, like, open. Yeah. I'm a very open-minded person. But I always wanted to travel as well. So that drive came from that, like, I need to see the world. So anything I can do to do that, I'm going to do it. So, like, for example, when I moved to Dubai, it was a vacation, 2-week vacation.
Wow, that just...
I spent all my money that I had to get to Dubai. My plan was after Dubai, I will come back and I will earn more money again. But whilst I was there, I got offered a fight and I ended up staying. But I had no plans to live there. I ended up staying on a sofa for 3 months until I got some money from clients again. Then I had money from the fight. Luckily, I got a bonus as well that helped. A fight bonus. So little things like this, you know, like on the path, just helped me along the way. Yeah. And then 2.5 years later, I hadn't been back to the UK. I was in Dubai, Australia, Thailand, travelling.
That's amazing. So talk us then through the timeline. So like what came first? Like, was it Dubai, then Thailand?
Yeah, so Dubai mainly, that was my hub. I was living there, and then I would travel for fights. So I had 2 fights in Australia. I went to Thailand to fight once on a vacation again. It just happened.
I love how your holidays just turn into like career moves.
Holiday fights, yeah. And then I recently went to Thailand for 2 months to get a few like warm-up fights. And then I'm back here in the UK for this one. So it's been like 2.5 years of training Dubai as my hub and then travelling for different fights and opportunities.
That's amazing. I saw when you said then like, you were coming back to the UK, obviously from being in Dubai. It's so funny because on your Instagram, we were talking about this off camera, on your Instagram this morning, you had like your big parka coat on and it was like proper UK thing. So what is it like when you come home? Obviously because like you're born and bred here, like all your family and friends from like your early years are here, but you've lived in like insane places like Dubai and Thailand, and then now we're in, it's like the middle of July and it is like absolutely peeing down outside. The weather is miserable, proper UK thing. Like how does it feel when you come back?
To be honest with you, I came back, it was rain, I was a little bit gutted.
Yeah. You could have brought the weather with you.
Yeah, I thought it would be sunny, but yeah. To be honest, I'm pretty much done with the UK. Like I feel like the UK is missing a lot. Like everyone like don't have the same vibe as when you go abroad. When I'm in Dubai, everyone's a go-getter. Like the energy is different. Like I can be in the gym hitting the pads and I meet another person. We have one conversation and we make a business deal.
Yeah.
And that never happens in the UK, but people want to collaborate all the time in Dubai. Let's do this together. Let's make a move. Like in the UK, I feel like people are just against each other and they've lost themselves and they're down. Their energy's down and they hate their life, and like that energy for me, I can't be around that because of my vision. You know,
and because of what you've experienced. Like you've seen how amazing it feels on the other end of it. So to come back and experience. You know, I definitely resonate with that. I think a lot of people do. Like, there is a weird thing at the minute where it can feel like everyone's like very self-gaining, and it's just like, what can I get out of this situation? Whereas we've spoke to loads of guys who live, you know, in other countries and just travel for fighting. One of the first ones that comes to mind is Magnus Andersson, who is Swedish but lives in Mexico. Really great fighter, and he was saying the same. Is like every time he comes to England, like everyone's like really stressed out, and it's like just a different vibe, and everyone's a little bit uptight and a little bit, you know. And he's very much like when you're in Mexico or you know in these gyms and you're just training together. It's like a fellowship like immediately. Whereas I feel like here that. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, British people just talk about problems, like it's just this problem, I hate this, and I don't know, I think it might be a mixture of like things like the way the country is set up, and then like the weather get you down, or things aren't going your way, like in terms of work or business, and everyone sees everything as a problem. But like, as I said, in Dubai, it's not like that, you know. It's just everyone get going, pushing for their dream or their vision.
So, yeah, I completely agree. Like, obviously, you are a really good example because you've clocked onto that so early. Like, literally, like, you're 23 now, and like the stuff we're going to get into, like saying what you've accomplished already, and obviously the plans for the future. You've clocked onto it really early. Like, what is the best piece of advice? Like, say if somebody is listening to this now, like some young fighter who's just thinking, oh, I'm tired, I'm fed up, like I've got to do this, and like you said, just focusing on all the problems, like. What piece of advice could you give? Like, so obviously you say like reading. Is that a big one for you? Like,
yeah, reading.
Your mind.
I've read a lot of books. Expand your mind. You just got to think bigger. Like I think people get dumbed down by the situation they're in now. Like I come from nothing really. Like I grew up and we moved house a lot of times. There's times I was even homeless when I was a kid, and like I think that built a vision in me. Like. And to want more, but people they can get set by like where they are now and think, oh, this is bad, like, but you just got to think bigger. Where do you want to be, and then think step by step. How can I get there? It doesn't have to be now, like from here to here. It's one step at a time. Yes. What can I do today to then get me to that position?
The compound effect.
The compound effect. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's a good book to read. Yeah. The compound effect. Chip away at something. Set your goal and then. Chip away on the way, and then you'll find your way as you go along. Like things come up, opportunities, ideas. You know, like you find your way. It's not going to be like now you have everything. Yeah. But it just comes over time. You know.
That's dead sound advice actually, because I think that is, and I've been bad for that in the past, of like the impatience of like you see the goal, but you know you're here, and you think there's too far of a gap. I'm not doing it, and because it's not instant. So I think that's really good advice. Like basically. So you're saying like work backwards almost, like find the goal, this is the goal. Yeah. Okay, I'm working backwards from that. How can I just get one step closer to it every day?
I think
break it down.
Most people, they don't have a goal. Like if I speak to a lot of people my age in the UK, they're just going out to drink or party, they just have a job that pays the bills or whatever, but they don't have that like, this is what I want, like a vision. And once you have that vision, it's magnetic. You'll do anything to get that, but you need to have that first. Like if you ask someone, "Oh, what do you want to do?" Like, "Oh, I don't know." Then how can you expect to get?
So true.
How can you expect to get anything from life?
Yeah.
You know, set your vision, then find your way after. You know what I mean? Plant the seed there.
Yeah, that is so true. Actually, I think a lot of people, it's just they know they want something else, but they don't know what. So they know they're miserable, but they don't know why.
Yeah.
I think actually we had a conversation with Dan McGowan who said the same. He was like, so he again like big fighter and broke his hand and was basically saying like there were times in that when he was like very down and thinking like what can I do, but he had a goal. Because I said the same to him, like what advice would you give for somebody who's just watching thinking I want better, I just don't know how. And yeah, it's feels like that's like similar advice. Is like if you have a goal, you know what you're aiming towards. Yeah, it does. It makes sense. It's amazing. Speaking of goals, actually, that like segues really nicely onto my next point for you. Is like again, I know I keep harking back to your age, but it is insane what you've achieved at 23. Like, and not even just what you've achieved, because that puts it down a little bit more shallow to like superficial things, but like the mindset and the lessons and just like your persona. Like you were saying, like everyone says like you've got an old soul, and instantly I can feel like the conversations. I'm thinking, God. If I would have known all the stuff that you're talking, like we're talking about now at 23, if people could just switch onto it quicker, it'd just be amazing. So such a young age now, you've already achieved so much. Like, what is your next? You know, like what's the 5-year plan? Because you've already achieved massive things. Like, what's the next step for you?
Yeah, so I have a few things. Like I've got business goals and fighting goals. Like fighting, I want to become the best in my division. As you know, next I'm going to Thailand. So I've signed to Fairtex.
Fairtex, amazing.
So I'll be with them for 1 to 2 years under contract. And my vision will be to be on one championship, obviously in the strawweight division. Step by step, work my way up, beat all the people in that division. Try get that one championship belt. That's the goal.
That's amazing.
And any other fights that come along, like my nickname Mr. Worldwide, but I've travelled a lot. I enjoy that. Like I really love travelling to fight. Seeing different countries and stuff, and I want to continue that, which we will. So like Australia, I'll continue fights in Japan, Europe, whatever comes up. That's what I'm going to do. Just travel and take any opportunity. That's the main thing. But business wise, MTM, I want that to become like the #1 brand in Muay Thai.
So again, I'm going to like sort of cut back and come back and forth to that. But like the MTM, so Muay Thai Magic that you've done, is like already huge. Like there's massive names like Liam Harrison, Jonathan Haggerty, Joe Craven. Like how have you? Again, just I know I keep saying 23, and I don't mean to, but it's just so insane that already you've got that successful of a business like so early on. How did you talk us back to like the bare bones of that? Like where did that start?
So Muay Thai Magic started like just as a spontaneous idea to start to share posts of fighters.
Was it around COVID time?
COVID time, yeah. So 2020, 2019, started small. Like I want to put it this way, I always knew for me to travel, which was always a vision for me, I needed like an online income. So I tried many other businesses like online, and it just didn't quite fit with me. Like I could make the money, but
the end goal was to support you travelling.
It was, but also like I had a genuine passion for like media and Muay Thai. So like, why don't I just make a business where I can promote the sport, grow the sport, but also at the same time have an income online? That's where it came from. The terms of the merch, that started small. Like it started from just doing customized merch for people. One pair of shorts, I earned from that, and then I doubled it again. And again, so every cash flow we had in the business was just from one pair of shorts, and every time we just stacked the money up till I had a bit more money. I could do now 20 pairs of shorts, and then now we can invest in gloves. Now I can do it. Now I can afford to sponsor events. Now I can afford to sponsor this fight, and then with my connections, being a fighter, it's been a good path. I've been lucky. Like fighters have helped me. Liam Harrison's a mate of mine, so he's wore it. Haggerty reached out to me. He's wore it. Just from good connections. That is, and it's like you say, it's again coming full circle to what we were saying at the beginning. Like if you do just follow the passion and follow the heart, like it does open up. So a connection that you had with Liam, now Liam's wearing your brand on like huge stages and stuff. It's like it does come full circle if you just kind of like keep following the feeling. But that literally just started from I want a passive income so I can travel, and now that's become like a real strong business plan of like what's going to take off in the future, like just from that one idea, from that compound effect. Exactly, compound effect. Like some of the things, like for example, merchandise. It wasn't really on my mind when I started. I started just as an Instagram page sharing, and then it was like, what can we do now? And then it just, ideas come as you go along. As I said, you work things out as you go along. The customized shorts, that was never a plan. And then I was thinking, how can I grow the brand? Well, when people fight, they wear customized shorts. So now if I start to make them, people will fight in them. That's going to get the brand seen more. Yeah. If they're fighting in MTM, then I release normal shorts. People are going to see that. It's promotion, you know, just different ideas come as you go along.
I love it. And do you know what? I love it because I'm really into like, sort of, not affirmations as in the way that people will think affirmations, like standing in front of a mirror and being like, I'm mint. Not that kind of affirmation. But like,
I look mint.
Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's how, if you talk about like affirmations and like positive self-talk and self-love and stuff, I think it's become so wishy-washy that people shut off.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the sense of like the story you tell yourself like internally. So I love when you first come in, I was like, absolutely love the jumper because it says like, trust your strength. Yep. So I think like seeing that, even subconsciously when you see it in the mirror, like you don't even notice you've took it in. But like messages like that, like I just love stuff like that. So is that obviously like very intentional? Is that something that through your mindset you're trying to get other people to feel like it is like wearing that badge on your chest of like...
Yeah, that's bang on. That's my tagline. Like I've got it tattooed on me. It's like, as I said, sometimes I travel and I'm alone and stuff, and like there's times where other people think that's a bit mad. Like, but just believe in yourself, it will happen, you know. So that's how it is. That was always to do with fighting, like just trust yourself. And same with business, trust yourself. You can make things happen. Just keep going, and like that should be instilled in everyone. Yeah. So that's now the brand tagline, trust your strength. So that I think it's something that more people should think of, you know.
Yeah.
Believe in themselves, trust yourself, don't doubt. Everyone has a bit of doubt, of course, if we're human. But you've got to look past that. You've got to like think, okay, but what do I want? Just keep grinding, keep going.
I think sometimes as well, like having a little bit of doubt makes you think outside the box. Because if you were just always a case of, I'm going to smash this no matter what, it gives you quite a narrow view. Whereas if you think, actually, that could be a problem, how would I deal with it? So it's like doubt isn't always a bad thing.
Makes you level up.
100%.
Makes you level up,
Doubt can make you think about things like outside of the box that you might not have seen before, even if it never happens.
Exactly. Hard work kills doubt. So we all have doubt, but then if you've got that, you need to work harder. So then you're going to kill that doubt. Yeah. That's what you need to do. So it's a good motto for people to have in their mind, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk a little bit about like, so obviously we're talking about like the stuff we're talking about, and I find this like every fighter I talk to, the mindset of a fighter is so beneficial to like everyone else, but it's just trying to instill it in them, because obviously for a fighter, like we were saying this, like you do have to be wired a little bit differently. This is why I'm like so fascinated with talking to fighters, because anyone who's like stepped inside a ring, like that, it's such an insanely, just to get in the ring, it's so hard to do. So that resilience, obviously, you've built over time. I'm just like dead keen to try and get that into everyone so that they can experience that. So yeah, I think like the merchant stuff is a dead good way of like sort of just subtly dripping that into people of like, it's applicable to everything. So the fact that the mindset of a fighter, the lessons that we're talking about is like, you know, for whatever goal you have, it doesn't have to be like winning the titles and stuff.
That's the goal with the brand as well. It's like someone doesn't necessarily have to be a fighter, but they might wear it and think that brand's cool. Like I train. Yeah. It represents a strong meaning, you know, strong training, strong fighting, strong values.
Yes.
And they want to represent that, even if they're not a fighter.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, 100%. So values you just mentioned then, this is something I've been really fascinated to talk to you about. So I told you when I very first sort of like was checking out your online profile, one of the first videos I noticed was you talking about religion. Yeah. And it was just out of all the little squares that I could have clicked on, I don't know why I was just drawn to that one, and I had no idea what it was going to be. But it just come at a time when I just literally like started looking into religion myself. So I've always like said, again, I feel like the word spiritual gets wishy-washy and people like shut it off, but I've always like said that I was spiritual, and I've very recently started like reading scriptures and stuff, and just me and Miles were talking about this off camera, saying like they are like age-old tales. So like any sort of, you know, story or moral or like life lesson is from like a very old teaching. So I've just been getting into it, and yeah, so I just think it's really cool, again, at such a young age, that you're so like openly talking about like your journey with religion. So just want to talk to us a little bit about like, how did you find it? How did you first get onto your like religious journey?
Yeah, so I'd say I started like you. I've always believed in a higher power, the law of attraction and stuff like that, and I've felt that in my life. Like that's happened for me with fighting, with business. Yeah,
you've got proof of it working.
I've got proof of it working. And then I started to really read into like the science of the law of attraction. So there's a book I read, The Master Key System.
What's that, sorry?
The Master Key System.
Oh, yes.
So it's
I
very
love these
good.
recommendations. I'm like, I'll have to watch this back.
Definitely read it. It talks about like the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and how that connects to the universal mind, and the electrons and like the quantum world. And it explains like the theory of like when you think about something so much, that goes into your subconscious, and then that goes into the universe. So the principle of prayer, whether you believe in God or not, is valid. Because if you're praying for something, like every day, like 5 times a day, as we do in Islam, either way, you're putting that in your subconscious and it's connected to the universe. But for me, then, this setup of the universe was too complex for me just to be like, this is an accident. There has to be a creator. So then I started to read the Quran. And I started to look into Islam. Luckily for me, I was in Dubai, so I was around many Muslim people. And I was assessing how they act, their values, the way they look at life. And coming from the UK, I realised we are completely the wrong way. You know, the way they treat their friends, the way they treat their family, you know, the way they deal with money, their business, everything. I just like their values. And that comes from what? Morals. The Quran. So then I started to look deeper, and then 2.5 years in Dubai, I did my shahada, I became a Muslim.
That's amazing. And again, going back to what you said, I think you said this, I saw on one of your posts, you were saying to people like, you would recommend for everyone to travel, and not even for getting into religious or spiritual purposes, but because it just opens up your mindset, which is so true. Because if you've only ever been in like your same areas, like sort of, it's like confirmation bias. If you're only surrounded by people who all think the same, who all behave the same, it's like sort of the rat race that everyone gets caught in. It's
just programming. So if you're brought up and if everyone's saying certain things about a religion or has certain values of how you should deal with money or deal with people or this, you're going to have the same. And if you never, as you say, you never leave the country, you're never going to change that programming. Or another way of calling it is a paradigm. It's your energy, you know. So like for me, that definitely happened. I changed my paradigm when I moved to Dubai, and I saw a different way of acting. And Thailand as well. People are just different. And it opened my mind. And then once I started to look into it more, I just feel like I resonated with it.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that again, because it's like it's following the feeling. So again, going back to like talking about, you know, not even just fighters, but like anyone. It is following that feeling. So like if everyone's feeling like a little bit run down or a little bit fed up or like they don't know what the goal is, and there's like whatever the feeling is, if it's negative, once you sort of like experience the feeling of like you go to Thailand and think, wow, I really like the culture, I really like the way they live, or you go to Dubai and think, oh, this is different to what I'm used to, and it feels better, then I think it's really cool that you just decided to follow that. You seem like a guy who's just very much like going to follow the feeling.
I just go with the flow, like whatever I feel like is the best next step for me, I'll go with it. Whatever feels right. I'm not scared of like other people's opinions. Like most people might think, "Whoa, he's converted to Islam. Like, what's he doing? What's happened?"
Have you experienced that? Any of your like your friends from England been like, "What are you doing?" Or have you had any like?
Not like directly said it, but you know they're thinking it, or like they make a joke or something, or they ask a question like, "Oh, what happened there?" You know. But until you're in my position and you feel what I felt, you can't even like talk about it, because it's a feeling, as you said, it's a feeling. Like when I was in Dubai and I started to look into Islam, I got a feeling that I can't describe. And most people, if you look who convert, they'll all say the same thing. They go to a masjid or mosque and they get a feeling, and you can't put it into words, and then you become attracted to, like magnetized to it. And the more you look into it, the more you wanna look into it. It becomes like a addictive, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's like, I feel like everything is so applicable to everything else. So like you're saying, like following the feeling with religion, and obviously you went to the mosque and had that feeling. I was like, I need to explore this. That's been the same for you in traveling. You had the feeling in business. You had the feeling. It's just, and it's you are literally. This is why it's so good to get you on camera. You are living proof to somebody. If somebody's sat there and they've got that little feeling, but they're not really fanning the flame, they're just trying to dampen it. You're the proof of fan the flame. Like follow the feeling, because things will work out, and things do. Like your life is. You know, you're manifesting everything that you want, and it's just through following the feeling. Obviously, not just like hard work and everything, all connections, but it starts with, here's the feeling, how do I explore that?
Yeah, it does,
definitely.
It does. For sure, it's good.
So another thing that I wanted to touch on you with is which we were talking about a little bit off camera, like sort of like work-life balance. So obviously now you are able to do like the like martial arts and your own business full time. But what was it like in sort of the interim when you're building?
Yeah.
So like the point that a lot of people might be at now is where they're still trying to hold down like a full-time job, still trying to have like a normal life and pay the bills. But they're trying to make it, you know, the dedication and time you have to put in to be a fighter. Did you have a moment where it's like, how am I going to juggle this?
Yeah. So when I was, well, before that, I was also being a personal trainer. So I was coaching people for many hours. Even when I went to Dubai, and
you did PTing in Dubai?
Oh yeah, so I was PTing
cool,
in the UK first at a gym. So basically, from when I was 15, I've been a full-time fighter.
Yeah, love that.
Straight in because
all in.
Yeah, all in. I was teaching kids and then teaching adults, and then during COVID, I converted my garage to a gym.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I did the same.
That was my first little like MTM hub.
Yeah.
Teaching people there. So that was like my cash flow. Whilst I was just building MTM as my bigger vision. So I was doing this just to have money in my hand, but still pushing that, you know. And then same in Dubai. I was using the PT as cash just to fund the other vision.
Yeah.
So other people can do that. Like I think having a job when you're building a business is a good thing.
Yeah, of course.
If you go into a new business with no money, you're gonna have big problems straight away. You're stressed because you've got no cash flow. We need to make money, and then you might make bad decisions, discounts, devalue your brand or whatever, or any business.
Yeah.
Have a job, it's fine. That's your cash flow. Then you have to think of a business you want to do. So for me, I was lucky I found that like an online business, but I'm sure other people can do the same, like something that aligns with fighting. Even a personal training business, if you can banish it, it's good. You know, just use your job, fund the other one, and then when the time's right, you make the jump and you do it full time.
Your advice is so realistic because what, again, you tend to see online is like, just go all in, like bet it all, you know, burn the boats and da-da-da.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will read that and think it sounds really cool and I get really buzzed for like 30 seconds, but then I'm like, but I've got a mortgage and kids and da-da-da. And then reality kicks in. So I think the sort of like online, you know, always grafting type vibe, it's so unrealistic to normal people who are just trying to get it. So your advice is like...
I don't think that's logical, me. Like, don't get me wrong, there's probably people who have done that, like they've threw themselves in the deep end and
but they're an anomaly.
Somehow made it happen. But I bet their life was an absolute misery, like mess, you know, struggling and stuff. Like, if anything, having a source of income to build a business is only going to help. Like, in some senses, I was in a difficult position because sometimes you have less clients with PT and then you can't put the money into the business as much, you know. Yeah. But if I'd have had that income, it would have been quicker. It would have been good, you know. But I think people just need to like think of a job they want, as I said, a business, and then just think smart. Don't overthink it, and just step by step work their way there. Yeah,
it's. Do you know what as well? Because it's very realistic advice, but it's also like it's doable because you're breaking it down as well. Yeah. So and it's even like what we were saying before about like work backwards from the goal and just have that compounding effect.
Yeah.
Because I think, and again, it's just the way the world is at the minute because we're so used to everything instant. Like you can get your food instantly and like your phone instantly and internet and everything like so. People almost begrudge the wait, but you're saying like, you know, if you have that foundation behind you, just small steady steps every day, then there will come a time where you can safely jump. Yeah.
That comes from Instagram though, because everyone's only just posting like the highlights.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And like there's times with business I've had doubts, is this even going to work? And like, it's easy to look at other brands who are like 10 years ahead of you.
Yeah. You
know, and
That's so true.
And think like, why am I not there? But like, they started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so another bit of advice I give, don't think in 1 year, think in 10.
Yeah.
Don't think of the difference you can make in a year or today. Think, what difference can I make in 10 years? And then everything seems a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
You know, if you want it now, it's like, I can't get there now, and then you stress yourself.
Yeah. And it is, again, like what we were saying about like finding the flow and just following the feeling. Like it's very hard to follow a feeling and find your flow when you just pure stress.
Yeah.
So if you've got that little bit of stability, like if you are into fighting and you can start PTing on the side and stuff, then it's going to help you to relax so that you can attract, you know, everything that's.
Yeah.
So you've said that you are married to fighting. So like, how is it trying to balance like relationships, friendships, like both romantic and platonic. Like how is it when you've got the mind of a fighter and not even just the mind of a fighter, because you are like a fully like successful businessman as well now. Yeah. Like, is it hard to balance relationships?
Yeah, I'd say I'm quite a bit of a lone wolf. Like, I have many connections and acquaintances and stuff, but to be honest, I spend a lot of time alone because a lot of it, like for example, when I travel, I come to Liverpool. It's not my home city. I don't really know anyone here, or go to Australia and fight, or go to Thailand. I keep myself to myself, and I just go with what I need to do. So like, I keep my connections with everyone. I'm keep talking, but I am quite like, I would say selfish with my time. You know, I'm not having just like little gossip conversations or small talk.
Very intentional.
I'm not really one for small talk and stuff, or I'm just like either training or I'm on my business. And I am pretty selfish with my time, to be honest. Like, if I want something, I want to go travel and fight, I'll go there.
Yeah.
Because I have a vision, and I think I can't like let social things affect that vision, you know. But then when you've got like friends or a girlfriend and stuff, it can be hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you have to make decisions for yourself, for your vision, but you got to see how that affects them.
Trying to find that balance of the right now and the future, because obviously you don't want to ruin the right now and be miserable working for the future, but you also don't want to, you know, have all the fun and the parties and social or whatever now and then miss the future. So it's like a very fine. How have you balanced that? Or at the minute, because you are obviously still so young, you've still got, you know, so much that you can achieve, are you still just at the minute thinking that's not something that you need to focus on and you can just follow the vision? Yeah,
no, like to be honest, I've cut all of that out. Like, I'm not really one for partying anymore. It's like since I converted to Islam as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm very straight. Like, now it's just business and training. So like, that's cleaned my life up completely, which has been a good thing. So I'd say I'm just tunnel vision. Like, I have my connections, but I'm going just where I need to go. Tunnel vision. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Have you found it difficult? So I'm like of a similar situation. Like, I used to, you know, love the party and the social and all that kind of thing, and then stopped drinking and found it really hard to not to like to be around the same people, but to like, you sort of realise like that's the only connection we had. So if I'm not getting off my head with you, like, what else do we have in common? Like, have you found that?
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I say I'm very selfish with my time, because sometimes you feel like you're having a conversation and it sounds horrible, but like, if that conversation is not benefiting your vision and it's just wasting time, then there's no time and place for it. And most people, they only drink because it's like something to do.
Numbing.
There's nothing else to do. So it's like, oh, we'll just drink and like waste time. You know what I mean? But if you have that vision, like especially as a fighter and or a business person, you should just be channeling all your energy into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, anything else that's going to take you off that path, see you later. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be one other person. If you're spending your time with business, but then sometimes playing, there's always going to be someone else who's just on it.
Who's just
that's your competition. Same with fighting. You're a fighter. You're the guy who's partying, and there's always that fighter who's only training. He's outworking you that day that you're training, you're drinking or something. Same with business. The day you're drinking, they're outworking you. So they're going to beat you eventually. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's, again, talking about before, when people are saying they don't know what the goal is, a lot of the time, because they're so distracted by things that, like you say, it's just a waste of time. Like, it's not working towards anything. So, yeah, I think that's why I'm so fascinated with the mind of a fighter, because it's so applicable to, like, if even without the fighting, if other people could just like take some of the nuggets of like what you're saying, is like, you can apply this to like everyday life. Like, it doesn't have to be about being in a fight camp and being training. It's just, is what you're doing right now today getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow? And if it's not, then what are you doing? And like, don't get me wrong, like, obviously we're all human. I'm not saying like, you know, most people would, you know, think that it's an issue of balance, but I think some people,
I don't think you need balance though. When your life is balanced, you're going too slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when people, everything I need to have fun, but then even with business balance, you need stress.
Yeah,
you need
we've
stress.
had this conversation, haven't we?
You know, I have like quite a stressful life. I'm training for fights. Someone's training to beat me up, and then I've got some like business and this.
Someone's training to beat me up.
You know what I mean? Like, most of what I do is stressful situations, like business, or this might go wrong and that, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because I know I'm doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if you're not under stress, you're going too slow. You know, every businessman, every athlete, every successful person is stressed, you know?
I feel like we needed this today, me and Miles. Like, we need to hear this because we have the conversation all the time of like, obviously when you are at a point of like building and stuff, it is very hard to feel like overconsumed sometimes. But then when you do like take that step back and think, it is all for like, if you look back to where you were 12 months ago and you think, oh my God, like we're miles apart, but it's very hard when you're just in the moment of like, I think Stephen, it was on one of Stephen Bartlett's podcasts, was basically saying, like you said, there's no such thing as balance. So you can have everything, but not all at the same time. So you can't have like 25% family, 25% work, 25% romance, like whatever. It's like one thing has to have all the focus or the majority of the focus. And then there'll come a time, you know, in 10 years' time, it might be a completely different focus.
Yeah.
But right now for you, what is, it's fighting and business. That's
fighting
your
and business
focus.
all the way. You know, like I'll travel. If tomorrow an opportunity comes up in America and I think that's better, I'm going there. I'm going there tomorrow.
That is
you know what I mean?
love
Like,
that.
it's just that. Anything I think that's going to better me, and I assess it and I think, okay, that's going to be valuable for me and where I want to go, I'm doing that straight away.
Can you talk to us, because that's like a really good point of like, how do you assess it? Is it, because obviously we've spoke about just following the feeling, but like, especially with business, there must be like a logistical side to it where you're like, you know, you think a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, business-wise, I think you have to be a bit impulsive. You can overthink, like, nah, that's not going to... I'm not going to quite be able to afford that, or should I do it or should I not? Sometimes you should just go with it. If you make the mistake, you learn from it.
Yeah.
You know, just be impulsive, especially with business. And same with fights. Like I've took fights on like two weeks notice, 1 week notice. You know, just like if I think it could be good, just take the chance. You know, It doesn't matter. If you failed, who cares? You know, I've took losses. Business, I've lost money and I think, why did I do that? But then, no, I learn because that's valuable experience. Now, then the next time you do something, you've got the experience banked.
Yeah,
and you're not going to make the same mistake again. You have to make mistakes and just go with things, you know. Maybe I'll go to Thailand for 2 years and like it might have been the worst decision of my life, but then I know that after I've done it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said again, like one of the, like you're such a quotable guy. You had something that said
philosophically.
I love it. Like no line to the top is ever straight, I think, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that's like literally touching on what you're saying now is like it's win or learn. Do you know what I mean? That's another really famous one, isn't it? Like you can always learn and then apply it in the future. So talking about that, like no line to the top has ever been straight. What is like one of your like lowest points of either the career business wise or fighting wise? Like what's one of those really low moments where you've sat and thought, I need to reflect on this, I need to take this lesson? Yeah,
so I took 3 losses in 2022 in a row. And I thought one guy was like 10 kilo heavier. Then I fought a 2-time Lumpini champ, and I thought I won, but I lost. And then I fought another fighter in Australia. These were both title fights as well, so W.B.C. And I lost again. And like after 3 fights, I'm like, even when I thought I won, I lost. And it was like, I know I'm like one of the hardest workers. Like when I outwork, when I'm in the gym, I'm outworking everyone. Just like, how is this happening? I'm doing everything I can possibly do. But them 3 losses, this is why, again, I believe in God or higher power. They made me reevaluate the situation I was in. So then I was like, okay, I need to make a change. Then the Fairtex thing came about. So I'm going to go to Thailand. I'm going to get a couple of warm-up fights there, hopefully get back to 2 big wins. Then I got signed by Fairtex, which is like one of the biggest gyms in the world for Muay Thai. Yeah. So if I'd have won them 3 fights, like, would I be in the situation I'm in now? Probably not. I'd probably still be in Dubai doing my own thing. But everything has a path. So them losses, I think they made me reflect, and you just need to just sit and think, what can I do now? One step to improve, and then you go with it and then try again. And then things may get better, things may not. But you just keep going like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd say for me, that was probably the hardest, like 3 losses. When you're training hard and you're giving everything you can. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a lot of sacrifice, a whole year just in fight camp and stuff. But as I said, it's been beneficial. Yeah, of course, it's led to something. It's led to something bigger. Yeah, absolutely. On that one, so on all the fights, but especially on the one where you thought you won and then it didn't go your way, like, do you watch that back and sort of see, obviously, because when you're in the moment, again, like we were saying, just in life in general, when you're right there in the moment, it's hard to take a step back. So do you watch your fights back and sort of analyse and think, okay, this is what happened? Yeah, like at the time I was gutted. It was like everything I'd worked for, you know. But on paper, like I shouldn't even have been in the ring with these guys. So like 10 kilo heavy, that's wild. Yeah, that one was in Thailand. That was a holiday fight as well. But that like I fought a Lumpini champ in Australia. Like some people would say I shouldn't even been in the ring with him, but I got lucky with the opportunity. But the fact that I thought I won, it was like a heartbreak, you know, because
yeah, of course.
it's like even when you think you win, you lose. It's like, what more can I do?
Yeah.
But as I said, I just reflect on it, try and improve, which I have done in the past year. I've made the adjustments, changed my certain things in my team and stuff, and now we're in a good place.
And it has led on to, obviously, Fairtex, like, which we say, like, absolutely renowned name in martial arts. How did that come about, and like, how did that connection come about? Yeah,
so it came actually from a guy we know called Sam. He runs a brand called Youth Sport Gear. So we was actually going to do business together.
All right, cool.
Collaborating MTM with Youth, and we still are. So there's going to be a collection that will drop that's like a collab.
Okay.
So I went to Thailand to do like business/fight. Then I had 2 fights on Fairtex fight in the space of a month, and then the boss at Fairtex was happy with me, and he said, "Yeah, okay, you can come.
That's amazing.
You can come and fight for us." So
it is cool because those 3 losses and those lessons like led to.
This is it.
Yeah,
But what's mad, like before I even went to Dubai, when I was sat in the UK, I always had Thailand on the mind anyway.
Yeah.
It was almost like I only ever went to Dubai just to change my outlook on life. Yeah. And now I'm going to Thailand
like
in a better place.
You needed that to broaden your horizons, to open your mind,
really
so
did.
that you could, yeah.
That's how I feel. I always look at things like as a benefit, you know, even if it was a loss at the time.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, talk to us then a little bit. Obviously, you say like you've got collabs and stuff coming up. The Muay Thai Magic. So I know we mentioned that like a little bit before about like the merch and stuff, and obviously like the affirmations and the wording that you've got is incredible.
Yeah.
But the programming of that is insane. So I had a little play on it. I was telling you last night.
Yeah.
And it's so good. So like you can customize your shorts. You can like pick your colours. You can put your name across them. I was changing the colour of my ribbons. I was doing like edging. Like the amount of detail on it is insane, and you say like you basically program that yourself. Like, how?
Yeah, when I was young, I started playing around on the laptop. So I actually did media at school, and I got a bug for like a bit of graphic design, like Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that, and making posters and stuff like that. That's where my media journey started. So this is why I think it was all linked, because that it's helped me with Muay Thai Magic.
Yeah.
Then I was always interested in like learning how to just develop websites. But we're looking at like, this is what I mean, like people overthink it, but Shopify and other online developers now, it's very easy actually to make a website. So if you have a brand idea, a business idea, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's not like years ago where you'd have to program it with code and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but there's still some learning to do, but you can learn yourself online. So I made a website when I was young for my coach at the gym. And that was kind of when Muay Thai Magic was born, because I was doing all these things for the gym, like setting up the shop, seeing things were being sold.
Yeah, honing your own craft and learning.
Promoting the gym and like taking videos of fighters in the gym. And I was thinking, I could do all this but like online. And that's when Muay Thai Magic was born, really, because it was like that gave me the skills and the vision. But now I'm going to do it for myself, you know what I mean?
That's ace.
So yeah, just self-taught online. And then just programmed it, and now we're in a good place. Like we can do, as you said, it's like Nike ID.
It was so fun. Like I honestly was just like thinking I'll just like nip on and I was like on it for like over an hour. It's so addictive, because then you're like, oh, let's try. And I was even when I was like, so I'd like customized those everything, and then I was like, I'm just gonna try it with a black band. I'm just gonna try the blue, and then I tried like every single color, because then once I tried like 4 of the colors, I was like, I'm just gonna try every single one. And it was so cool. Like the amount of detail, like you can tell, like it's obviously. It's very, very, very well put together. So what's the plans, obviously, for the next 12 months? Like you say, like you've got collabs and stuff coming up.
Yeah. What
is like, so say like you were talking about like the 10-year plan. Obviously, again, keep going back to it, you're only 23. So 10 years, you're still so young. Like what is the website looking like, or the merch and everything? Is that what's going to be the next step for the merch?
MTM will go much further than merch. I want it to be like, someone thinks of Muay Thai, they think of MTM. Yeah. Straight. That's the goal.
That instant connection.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be merch, it can be anything. Like I'm sure there'll be other things we'll do in the future, maybe gyms, promotions. I've got many things. I've had potential offers and stuff that we may go down the road of, but now with the point I am in life, I need to focus on my fighting.
Yeah.
So I'll keep the merchandise running, but maybe later on in life, once the brand's built in a strong position, there'll be many other things I'll do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so cool that you've got that, like you say, like we were talking about. I mean, it's absolutely more than just a backup option, but it is sort of like that balance of you having that income to support the fighting, so you can give that as much as you can give it for the next, however many years, and then that can be like we were saying, there's never such thing as balance. It's like one has the focus. So right now it's the fighting, but then 5-10 years down the line, when you've achieved everything you want to achieve with one championship and stuff, that could be the next focus. That's
it. Yeah, I always spin it onto business and then like give back. Like I want to create like I'd love to have a gym where like it's like the premier place for like people to come train and stuff for sure, and like bring more elements into it. I think that Muay Thai is lacking. Like have you seen like the UFC Institute in the PI in America? Like you can go there, you can get testing.
Oh right.
Like you can.
Do you want to do something like that for?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I think Muay Thai has such a scope now with one championship. It's growing and like with media pages like yourself, Bastian, what I'm doing and other UK media pages, like it's only going to grow more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can feel that, absolutely. You can like feel it is...
Where was MMA like 5-10 years ago? Like people thought it was just crazy cage fighting. Now it's the UFC is the biggest in the world. So Muay Thai will be the same, give it 5 years. Just need certain personalities to push it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there'll be a space for like something in Muay Thai to do that, I think.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself like it sounds like you've got, again, like you said, you already, the seed was already planted for the website, obviously the fighting, like everything has already sort of like somewhere already been planted.
Yeah.
So it feels like you've obviously got that coming with the gym and stuff. Where do you see yourself like based, like, so, because obviously you are Mr. Worldwide, where could you see yourself like settling and doing the gym and opening up that?
I ask myself this question, I honestly don't know. I like to travel too much.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever settle. I don't think I could anchor, but I honestly don't know. Like I like Dubai. I think I could settle there, but I need to go to America as well. Yeah. I want to go to America and see how that is for a vacation, because for me it starts...
anything can happen. If he's going on vacation, anything can happen.
I may fight or end up staying there for 2 years.
I'm just opening a business there, like...
Yeah, like I need to travel more, but this is what my plan is with the fighting. I don't know, I just like to travel too much. I think Dubai could be a place. I'd like to franchise MTM eventually, have multiple around the world.
Oh, amazing.
But me as a person, where I'll be, I honestly don't know. Maybe on Mars or something.
Yeah, do you know what, actually, yeah. I would not be surprised, like, if I read that in 10 years, like, or like, see you on social, I'd be like, oh yeah, I could see that.
I'm pretty sure if we manage to work out how to get there, I'll be gone.
You'll be there, yeah, 100%, I can see that. It sounds like you're definitely in the spot at the minute where you are just still in that process of just following the feeling. If it feels right, you're going to go for it. You're not really tied to any particular idea or any, like, set, like you said at the beginning, you're very open-minded. And obviously it's done you so well to have that mindset so far that, like, I actually am genuinely excited to see what you do in the next 12 months, but in the next 10 years, because I could literally read a story or hopefully be still chatting to you on social and be like, oh shit, it's going to Mars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you would.
Yeah. And this is only one business idea. Like I'll have probably many more ventures, that just keep going. I love business as well. Like even from young, I was just into business. I love the idea of having like, that feeling as well. It's not just money. It's like when you see someone wear your product that you've developed and it's come from a computer generated idea to then someone wearing it. Like I go to gyms now in the UK. I've been traveling a little bit. And I see people wear my stuff. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that. And like, I've come from Dubai and they're wearing it. It feels something more than money. Yeah. Money can feel in you.
Absolutely.
It's like it's value to people.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I'm absolutely buzzing to see what you do next. Is there anything for you've been so generous with your time? Thank you. Is there anything that like we've not touched on that you think like you wanted to talk about, or anything that I
think we've covered everything there. It's been a good one.
I think we did like so much before the camera even come on. I'm trying to think like, what did we say before we started filming and what did we say after? So I think we've hit everything. But
yeah, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's been really, really nice to talk to you, and I am genuinely excited and curious as well. I think that's a good word, because anything can happen with you. I really do feel like that.
I keep my cards closed until it's done. So.
And you could go on holiday now in America and then be like, oh, Luce, I'm setting up a gym in America. Like,
probably,
you're quite unpredictable, which I like. So, so I'm excited to see what happens.
I feel like
next.
that actually, unpredictable. I just bounce, go with the flow.
It's great. I love it. So, yeah, thank you for chatting to us. I'm dead excited to see what you do next. Thank you.
Double up. The money I color up. Double up. The money I color up.